What's up, Mitten Squad? My name is Paul. Welcome to the very first review on this channel. I've done reviews before. I did one on the Nintendo 3DS. I put that on my old channel, which is now defunct, which is unfortunate for many reasons, but that's not important. This is a review of the 2014 version of the MacBook Air. This MacBook Air is the latest in the now pretty much legendary lineup of MacBook Air computers. This version has Intel's Haswell chipset, which makes a noticeable boost in battery life and the overall performance. The MacBook Air really is just crazy thin. At its thickest point, it measures a mere 0.68 inches and tapers down to an incredibly thin 0.11 inches. That's thin enough to stick in an envelope, a backpack, or even a folder if you have one that's wide enough. This may be the last MacBook Air, however, to feature this form factor, as Apple is known to shake things up a bit after a while. Aside from the internals, the MacBook Air really hasn't changed much since its iteration many years ago. With the new Broadwell chipset being right around the corner, 2015 seems like it's going to be a pretty good year for MacBook Air and the Apple computers across the board. The weight of this computer is also very thin. It weighs just 2.96 pounds. Your ears did not just lie to you. It's less than 3/4 of an inch thick and weighs under 3 pounds. I don't even need to go into a lot of details about this because there aren't many details to go into. There are people still lugging around these bricks that are 4 or 5 or even 6 pounds, and when you pick up a MacBook Air, you're going to be dumbfounded. This is the thinnest and lightest computer around, especially when you're considering the build quality. I mean, this thing is aluminum. It's not just plastic and thrown together. Everything about this computer is machined to a T. There are no mishaps here. Everything is just done to perfection, and you should expect that when you're paying $1,000 for a product. Even the cheapest version is still $900, and you can go buy a computer it's supposedly got better specs than this for $250, but it's gonna be a piece of garbage. While this is just a thing of beauty. Under the hood, the MacBook Air has a 1.4 GHz Intel Core i5 processor, which can turbo boost up to 2.4 GHz. It also has Intel HD Graphics 5000, which is an upgrade from the previous MacBook Air, which was the Intel HD Graphics 4000, but still is a bit behind the Iris graphics of the MacBook Pro. That might not sound very impressive, but that's okay. It doesn't need to be impressive. This MacBook Air, this computer, is not designed for hardcore gamers or someone who spends hours a day in a video editing program. It can handle simple games like Minecraft just fine. It can even handle some of the more graphically intensive games like Call of Duty Black Ops alright. But you won't be able to play any games like Battlefield 4 or Assassin's Creed 4 and expect anything more than a mere slideshow. It can't handle it. That's not what the computer is built for. The MacBook Air can be configured on the Apple website with up to 512 GB of flash-based storage, which is basically sort of like what you'd find on a flash drive, except a bit faster. Coming from a regular spinning disk drive, you will see absurdly fast boot times and speeds across the board. Everything from transfer of files to starting up and shutting down the computer it's just going to blow you away with how fast it is. If you plan on doing anything other than basic web browsing and schoolwork like writing papers or maybe putting together a PowerPoint type presentation on your MacBook Air, you need to get at least 256 GB of storage. The 128 GB just doesn't last long at all. In the past, you could get third-party upgrades for your MacBook Air through brands like Transcend or OWC, but that's just not possible with this MacBook Air because it uses a slightly different PCIe-based storage system, and the way it works, it's not the same as it was with the 2013 or 2012 MacBook Air, so the previous upgrades that you could do are unfortunately not available with this model. While most things about this computer are fantastic, the screen resolution really isn't that great. It's 1440 by 900. That's not bad by any means. You'd think that at this price point Apple would include a 1920 by 1080 screen, which is also known as 1080p, but that would lower the battery life a bit, and then you wouldn't have what that MacBook Air is known for, which it's insanely long battery life. Speaking of battery life, this is where the MacBook Air really shines. According to Apple, the 54-watt lithium polymer battery can get you up to 12 hours of web browsing, 12 hours of iTunes movie playback, or up to 30 hours of standby time. I have trouble getting 4 hours out of my old Windows computer. That says a lot about, 1, the way Apple designed this product, and 2, how shitty the Windows laptop market is. Windows computers just aren't up to par with the Apple product. Part of that is due to the fact that Windows computers are made by anyone and Mac is just made by Apple. They also make the software, they make everything about this product, which is why they can really maximize everything about it. I've pushed my MacBook Air to the limit, and Apple's claims are pretty much accurate. I got 10 hours of battery with heavy web browsing using sites like Netflix and YouTube, along with about an hour or so of basic video editing, which is just putting the videos together, adding an intro, moving some things around, and exporting. As for the ports and other things around the MacBook Air, it has 2 USB 3.0 ports, which are pretty fast. There's one on each side. It has one SDXC card slot, which is basically your SD card slot where you put SD cards and other SD card type things, a single Thunderbolt port, a headphone jack, dual microphones on the left side, which is really how you distinguish this between the 2014 model and the 2013 model, because the 2013 model only has one microphone hole on the left side, whereas the 2014 model has 2 of them. It also has a MagSafe connection port used for charging, which basically means that it is magnetized, so if someone walks by and rips the cord out, it's not going to snag the laptop. It's just going to unhook real easy and you're not going to have any problems whatsoever. As for the person who tripped on the cord, they might trip and fall and hurt themselves and sue you, but that's not something that Apple would have to deal with. It also has a 720p FaceTime camera, which is basically just a run-of-the-mill webcam. It's pretty good. It's not fantastic. It's not great, but it's also not bad either. It's a pretty good webcam. If you want the ultimate portable computing experience, the MacBook Air is exactly the product for you. It really is a great laptop. That being said, for $1,000 for the 13.3-inch model, which is what I've been reviewing for you here, I would have a hard time recommending it to almost anyone. Unless you absolutely have to have the thinnest and lightest laptop available, you should really spend a bit more and get a Retina MacBook Pro or even one of the older models. The MacBook Pro is only 0.03 inches thicker and weighs about half a pound more. For an extra $200 to $300, depending on where you buy it, you'll be getting a much more robust computer. It will be much more powerful and will have a drastically better screen. However, you would be sacrificing a bit of the portability and some of the battery life that comes with the MacBook Air. If you have any questions about the MacBook Air, leave a comment in the comment section and I will answer all of them. If you want to see some gameplay from games like Minecraft, Fallout New Vegas, or Skyrim on this MacBook Air, check the description for those links. I will have them there. I will also have a link on the screen to some of those videos. If you enjoyed the video, hit like. That really helps me out. If you want to see other types of videos, subscribe to my channel. My name is Paul of Mitten Squad. Have a wonderful day.